find other great podcasts like this one at podmoth.network.
Okay, so when you search Emmett Cullen on the internet, the third search down is Emmett Cullen eggs.
Yeah, see, that detail I completely missed in Twilight. I thought I knew everything about Twilight, and then Sophie sent me a meme that ended in a bag of eggs, and I was like, when is there a bag of eggs in Twilight? And she came at me with screenshots. Like, there's bags of eggs everywhere, bitch.
Yeah, they were hair clips that were Twilight themed, and the last one was a bag of eggs.
I love it, and I love that it's a hair clip. That creator was very, very good.
Dedicated.
I liked the sparkly Edward Cullen one. That would be a fun surprise in your hair.
Yes.
But yeah, who knew? Next time I watch Twilight,
look for it, because what they're eating is really weird. There's a lot of interesting prop design in that moment, where I remember being on Tumblr, and I remember someone had pointed it out that, why does Emmett have a bag of eggs? And I was like, he does not. And then the next time I was watching the movie, bing, bang, boom, there it is.
Yeah, I've met my quota for Twilight this year, 2024, but I'll circle back in 2025.
Please do write it down in your Twilight logbook that I know that you keep for every watching.
Yeah. You know what? Speaking of watching, I know there's a podcast that maybe you, but a lot of our friends listen to, where they rewatch Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. And we recently watched Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
Oh my God, how was the brown banana scene?
I didn't like it.
You didn't find it funny?
I don't know. I mean, it just...
How about the old woman getting punched in the gut?
Okay, all right. That almost got me.
Okay.
Almost.
Mind you, I've never seen this movie.
We did a double feature of Paul Blart 1 and 2.
Oh my goodness gracious, Katelyn.
Not on the same night, I don't think, but... Maybe.
I think that could kill a person.
No, we did not watch it on the same night, confirmed with Chris.
I think that much vicious body shaming will kill a person.
It was just a lot of fat jokes and fat phobia, and it was just a lot.
Well, not to be a downer, but this is something Justin McElroy points out on the podcast, maybe episode 3 or 4 or something like that these jokes towards Kevin James.
Yeah.
He's not wearing a fat suit. He's not wearing prosthetics. This is his real body.
Yeah, it's just mean.
And it's just the joke is his body, and they want you to laugh at him one minute, and then the next minute he's supposed to be Mr. Action Hero.
It was not great. I give it a solid C-.
Wait, how did you like the scene with the bird where he fights the bird?
I didn't like it.
Again, never viewed this film.
But you know every detail.
Because this group of people on this podcast, they watch Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 every year. And the concept of the podcast is that they will watch it, and this is relevant to us, until their death.
Love that.
Yeah, which is a commitment that, frankly, is astounding.
Yeah.
And the tone of the podcast has gotten more absurd. We're about, I think, 8 or 9 years in. So, we're starting
the
to get...
sweet spot.
Oh, yeah. They were getting weird with it episode 1, but now it's an inscrutable mess. Much like myself sometimes.
Inscrutable mess. That might be a good name for the episode. Let me table that.
I shall table it. I will tabletop it.
Ping pong it. Off the wallet.
Ding dong it.
In olden days, a glimpse of femur was only for morbid dreamers, but you're not alone. Bring anything bones. Two goofy gals with deathly interest go on a skeleton inquest in your headphones. Anything bones.
Hello and welcome to Anything Bones. My name is Sophie Pride Schwartz.
And I am Katelyn Versace. Heart. And this is the podcast where we talk about bones, bone-related topics, and whatever we feel like.
Hi, I hope you enjoyed last week's Bonanza. If you haven't had a chance to get into it, it's pretty fun. We combined creepiness and crime, and you're thinking, Sophie, every crime is kind of creepy. No, these are stories with a twist of extra creepy.
Yeah.
And we're back again this week with more bone-related topics for you to enjoy at your leisure.
I'm going to keep going with crime. It's kind of my thing if you're new here.
Katelyn loves crime.
Not that I love crime or do crime or that it's really my thing. I just seem to talk about crimes on this podcast because those stories interest me the most.
Yeah, you're interested in the abnormal behaviors.
Yeah. Yeah, human psychology is wild. Every once in a while, I stumble upon the side of TikTok where I just end up watching a bunch of, like, Karens getting their comeuppance or, like, drunk people getting arrested. And I find it oddly satisfying.
I have just a slight tangent, and I think some of our listeners would also really enjoy this YouTube channel. It's called Bows versus the World, and she talks a lot about true crime. She does a lot of trial watching as well. Like, she'll do trial commentary, but she has a series that is called Best of Body Cams.
Oh.
And it is people acting like at making the poorest possible choices in the face of authority that you have ever seen. And it is a pretty juicy watch. If you want to search Bows versus the World, Best of Body Cams, you will be entertained.
That sounds like what I've been watching a lot of lately on TikTok.
Yeah. You want to see Karens getting completely humbled by the law?
Mm-hmm.
You will see it. You want to see a man who thinks he can buy his way out of a traffic stop and, oh no, buddy, you're drunk. This isn't going to go the way you thought.
I can't stop watching because they always make it worse for themselves. I do enjoy thinking about what makes people tick.
Yes.
And, like what people are capable of, unfortunately.
Yes.
And it's like, I mean, I think we've talked about this before, but like in the true crime space, there's a lot of like consuming the media because you think that it'll like better prepare you. It's like an anxiety response. I think there's a little bit of that in there too.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm not a very confrontational person. So it's interesting to see, for me, it's interesting to see someone make choices that would be so wildly different from how I would react, because the only time I've ever gotten a ticket, I cried.
Oh, yeah. I cry every time. It's only happened a couple times.
It's okay. You're an outlaw. That's fine.
No, I paid the fees. I paid the ticket.
Can I just tell you one shitty thing about the ticket that I got?
Yeah. Was it recent?
No, it was in high school.
Oh, okay.
It was when I was a fucking camp counselor, and I was trying to be on time, and I was speeding through the back streets of Orinda just trying to, like, get there on time. This cop fucking stopped me, and then he set my court date for my birthday.
Oh, that sucks.
And he would have known when my birthday was because he had to look at my license.
Yeah, that's just one day off would be good.
Yeah, it was shitty. But definitely was not in it to fight with the cop or anything like that.
No, it's not a choice that many should, or anyone should make, definitely.
Yeah, be smart.
So, just segueing out of whatever that was, my topic today, I am going to talk about the murder of Gianni Versace.
I was wondering if that's what that meant. I'm just extremely excited to hear you talk about this case. There's an interesting intersection of crime and fashion.
Yeah. So let's get into it. My sources for this were Smithsonian magazine, Time magazine as well, history.com, and then 2 articles from biography.com. So I think we've all probably heard of the brand Versace.
Yes, a expensive designer brand, a legacy brand.
Mm-hmm, exactly. So we're going to talk about founder of Versace and his unfortunate murder in the late 90s. Gianni Versace was one of the top fashion designers of the 80s and the 90s. He was like it. He was born in December 1946 in Reggio di Calabria. I'm going to butcher this. Reggio di Calabria? Calabria? I don't know. Somewhere very lovely sounding in Italy. His mother was a dressmaker and had her own business, so he learned a lot from her. He worked for her after he finished high school. And then in 1972, he moved to Milan, Italy, obviously like a fashion hub, and began freelance designing. His first clothing line was launched in 1978. And then in 1989, he debuted his first couture collection.
Yes, and his collection had a huge splash.
It did, yeah. He always did his business with his family as well, which I think is very cool. Brother Santo and sister Donatella work for him, and they actually continue to run the company. Not only was he a fashion designer, he expanded into like home furnishings, perfumes. He designed pieces for Madonna, Princess Diana, Elton John, and Tina Turner.
And his fashion was always a lot bolder and had bigger statements than a lot of designers of the time, which like really put him ahead and like made him one of the top couture designers of the time, because he wasn't afraid to do prints. He wasn't afraid to do gaudy gold. You know, the Versace aesthetic is gold everywhere.
Yeah. So this is from biography. Quote, Versace became known for his glamorous styles, producing a range of siren dresses that became his trademark. He often used innovative materials such as aluminum mesh or cutting-edge techniques like neo-couture laser technology to fuse leather and rubber. The head of Medusa was also a recurring image on many of his clothing items and accessories. So just an interesting tidbit about Medusa. I don't know. We love it. We love a little Greek mythology.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool that he was cutting edge both in his style and his material, his resources.
And he was a very powerful, successful, creative gay icon at a time when there were very few openly gay figures in the fashion world and just in pop culture in general.
Yeah.
He received numerous awards for his designs, including 4 awards called L'Ocho de Oros, an American Fashion Oscar in 1993. And he did designs for like ballet and theater. And it was just very like eclectic and creative and just did a lot of amazing things.
Yeah, it seems like he had a lot of like someone who has like lots of talents and hobbies.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this bright light in the community, the gay community, the fashion community in Miami and just in the world, Gianni Versace was only 50 years old when he was gunned down outside his South Beach home in Miami, Florida. This was on July 15th, 1997. Some sources say he was coming home from getting some cigarettes and magazines. Other sources say he was coming home from a cafe. Either way, it sounds like he was just like hanging out in Miami. He went to run an errand, came back to his home, and was gunned down on his front steps. So this is a pretty well-known case. So most people probably know who I'm about to talk about next. Famously played by, what's his name? The guy from Glee. They did we'll talk about this later, but they did Ryan Murphy did a show about this case where
oh yes,
Blaine, I know his character's name in Glee.
Jesus. Darren Criss.
Guy, that's the one. Yeah. He plays this guy. Sorry, got off topic.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I watched this show like when it came out, which was in 2018. I want to say I watched it around then, maybe right before COVID. I remember enjoying it. Now that I have done more research about this case, I kind of want to go back and watch it because it is a dramatization, but in my sources, they talked about it a lot. A lot of the sources were from around the time that the show was coming out. And they used a source where this woman had done like hundreds of hours of research and interviewed a ton of people. So I think she did her best on the research, but the killer who we're going to talk about was a notorious liar and manipulator, so it's hard to know how much of his story is true. The murderer's name is Andrew Cunanan. He was 27 years old. He did not have a fixed address and was obsessed with wealth and fame, and was already on the FBI's top 10 most wanted list when he arrived in Miami.
Great place to start when you're going to Miami. You can always go up from there.
Yep. So Andrew was born in August 1969 in San Diego, California. His parents were strict. They were religious, but as far as anybody can tell, he did not experience any of the early childhood traumas that we often see in cases with killers that commit these horrible acts. He was the youngest of 4, and none of his other siblings seemed to have the desire to kill in the way that he did, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
I think this was from biography.com, I believe. I think they just put it really well, so I'm just going to quote it here. Quote, "On the surface, the highly intelligent Cunanan reveled in his life as a young, attractive gay man. He typically socialized with much older, wealthier men and eventually settled in San Francisco's gay Castro district. By the time he was 21 years old, he spoke 7 languages and was becoming well acquainted with the finer things in life."
He liked to party and have older men take care of him.
Yes. Some sources say he spoke 2 languages. This source says 7, so I'm not sure how many languages he spoke.
He spoke an amount of languages.
He spoke more than 1 language. How about that? So to continue the same thought, quote, "However, beneath this cheerful facade lurked a much darker side that became exacerbated by an insatiable need for drugs, kinky sex, and material wealth. In his teens, Cunanan had worked as a sex worker." They didn't use that term, but I like that term better, obviously.
Yeah.
Which, there's no shame in that. I just think it's part of a narrative of him wanting to just be taken care of and just get drugs and wealth and power and not, get it from other people, not do anything on his own, if that makes sense.
Yeah. He expects other people to provide for him, which is not something that is characteristic of sex workers.
No. And he is manipulative and lies to people to get what he wants. And in April 1997, he just kind of out of the blue, no one can figure out why this started, begins a killing spree that lasts for months. Because this starts in April and then he kills Gianni Versace in July, which is his final murder. So, it's a lot. So in April 1997, he used a hammer to beat Jeffrey Trail, who was a 28-year-old former naval officer. And the FBI says that they don't know the relationship between the two of them. He shot and killed a quote, former lover, David Madsen, 33, and dumped his body near a lake in Minnesota. Soon after that, he stabbed Lee Miglin, who was a 72-year-old Chicago real estate developer and businessman. Again, we can only speculate as to what their relationship was, if it was, transactional, if they had a relationship, we don't know. He murdered William Reese, who was a 45-year-old cemetery worker in New Jersey. And at this point, he's on the run, and the cops and the FBI are looking for him. So he's fleeing across state by state. And they believe that he killed William Reese just to steal his car.
Is he categorized as a serial killer or a spree killer?
I mean, I think at this point it's one and the same, because he has killed more than 3 people and it's in such a short succession. So yeah, I think both. This came up a lot in my sources and I side-eye this. It says in my sources that authorities / the FBI believed that Andrew Cunanan might have started this killing spree to seek revenge on former lovers that might have given him HIV. But there's no evidence that he had HIV. So part of me wonders where this came from and if it's just rooted in homophobia.
It sounds like if he didn't have HIV or AIDS, then it's a homophobic theory.
Right? That's what I am getting from this. Unless there's something that's not been released to the public, like, I don't know where this came from. So, like, is this just a theory because the suspect is gay and, like, they're like, oh, this must be it? Like, it's weird to me. I question it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not surprising that that's what they would maybe think, because HIV was at the forefront of people's minds in connection with the gay community.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a history of presumption in law enforcement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So just that comes up in my sources, so it's something to mention. But I don't know how much stock I put into that. I don't think we're ever going to really know what his motives were. I think they were way too complicated to just, like, sum it up with just that, you know? So this all starts in Minneapolis, and he evades capture for all of these months, and he makes his way to Miami, Florida. He spends some time in Miami. We don't really know what he does when he gets there, but basically the next thing we hear from him is the murdering Gianni Versace on the steps of his house on July 15th, 1997. There was a lot of controversy after the fact. Police were blamed for not, like, warning the gay community in Miami that Andrew Cunanan was, like, on the loose. I mean, I can see that would be something they should be warning people about if he's on the loose.
They should warn everyone.
I mean,
not just the gay people.
You would think that they, you know, would. I don't know what was done exactly to try and find him, how hard they were trying, like, but yeah, this caused a lot of friction, it sounds like. And basically every move they made after Versace's murder was washed because, like, people were outraged that this could happen just, like, in broad daylight on the streets, like, or, you know, in a neighborhood.
Yeah, to a person like this.
Yeah, and Andrew Cunanan was immediately a suspect, I guess, because of, the connection to the gay community and just, the brutal murder of it all. He had used a gun previously on other victims. And so they track him, Andrew, to a houseboat in South Florida that he had broken into. And before he could get arrested, he took his own life.
It's always really upsetting when there's no chance for justice and accountability.
No, he didn't leave a note. There's just, it doesn't sound like he kept journals. Like, there's just no way to know what exactly was going on. And so at this time he has an autopsy, and at least biography.com reported that he didn't have HIV when his body was autopsied. So that theory about him wanting to kill people because he was HIV positive has no merit at all, it seems like.
Yeah, wouldn't it seem that gay people have more to them than HIV and AIDS?
Yeah. So this one is a downer because it's solved, but we have no understanding of why he did this, because he took his own life and didn't leave a note. We don't know why he killed the other 4 men that he killed. It's just really unsatisfying is one word for it. There's a lot of words, but unsatisfying is what comes to mind for me.
Yeah, and it's so heartbreaking that the LGBTQ community loses this amazing artist.
Yeah.
And their family
Icon.
loses him. Yes, icon. You know, fashion loses him. He's a historic figure.
Yeah. And for what?
We have no idea.
Because this guy wanted 15 minutes of fame, it just doesn't make sense.
I heard I actually watched a video about this case fairly recently.
Oh, we did not coordinate this, people.
We did not coordinate this. So there is a rumor, again, this is like all alleged, that, what was his name? Andrew Cunanan? What's his first name?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Andrew.
Andrew was in the club scene, you know, in Miami for a bit and up and down the East Coast, and as was Versace. And it's possible that they could have met before, because
Yes.
it's possible that they were in the same place at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think that's very interesting because the gay community, or the adult male gay community of the East Coast, is a lot more, that's a more insular community than just the wide world,
Sure. And that, like, some sources are like, police have never been able to, like, verify that they knew each other. But, like, a lot of his friends reported that he had met Versace even, like, maybe years before. There was one friend who said that he saw Versace and his partner and Andrew in a car together. So it's very possible that they knew each other, and there's just some motive that we don't know about because, there's no, like, evidence of their meeting. So how would we know what the motive was?
He was also, like Katelyn said earlier, he was also a notorious liar. He could have told people that he knew Versace and never met him.
Yeah, we don't know, and we'll never know.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Yeah, this is a really upsetting case because it feels very random.
Mm-hmm.
It has that terrifying element of, like, he's killing these people and we don't know why. He killed this random old man, possibly just for his car. Like, this is a person with so much entitlement and disregard for life.
Yeah, and just anger, but no one can figure out why.
Yeah,
because he had all this privilege and just didn't use it. It seems like because he was part of an affluent family, as far as I could tell.
Yeah,
he was not destitute. So yeah, it's bizarre.
Yeah, and I don't know, an interesting person who traded in lies and luxury and then violence.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Happy Pride.
Yeah. Talk to you guys in a little bit.
Please enjoy this ad from Podmod Network. Really, though.
In a world filled with mysteries, where the unknown lurks in the shadows, two intrepid hosts dare to uncover the truth. Join Glenn and Oma on a journey into the realm of caffeinated conspiracies, now a part of the Podmoth Network.
Hey, I'm Glenn.
And I'm Oma.
Together, we explore the unexplained, from ancient legends to modern-day enigmas.
Join us as we delve into the depths of conspiracy theories, paranormal phenomena, and everything in between.
With a blend of curiosity, laughter, and a dash of caffeine, they'll take you on a wild ride through the mysteries of the universe.
So grab your favorite brew, sit back, and let's uncover the truth together.
Because truth, like coffee, is best served bold.
Caffeinated Conspiracies. Get ready to awaken your mind.
Welcome back from that glorious break. I hope you took the time to wiggle your toes and refresh your coffee.
Yeah, and while you're at it, take a sip of water as well. I'm sure you're overdue.
Oh, yes. I think our audience skews dehydrated.
Most cool people do.
Ayo, yes.
I forgot a beverage for this recording session, like an idiot.
Do you want a minute?
I might need to go get one, actually.
Go, please.
Yeah, pardon. Stand by.
It's okay, it's a necessity. San Pellegrino.
Yeah, today we have some San Pellegrino tangerine and wild strawberry water.
And on the complete other side, we have Kroger brand strawberry lemonade seltzer.
I think both sound good. This is a little hoity-toity, actually. The one that I have.
Bougie.
Mm-hmm.
No, Katelyn is a queen who deserves the world.
Aw, thanks.
It's true. Speaking of a queen, I'd like to move from a queen to a princess, actually.
Oh, okay.
The topic that I'd like to talk about is a person who I did not know existed until very recently, but I'd like to talk about the amazing lesbian Indian princess, Catherine Hilda Duleep Singh.
All right. What a name. So many words.
Right? So we'll get more into her in a minute, but I'll just fire off my sources really quickly up top. So we have 2 from Wikipedia, 1 from museumcrush.org, 1 from feminisminindia.com, 1 from hrp.org, and 1 from essexcdp.com. So Princess Catherine Hilda Duleep Singh was born on October 27th, 1871. And she was the second daughter of Maharaja Sir Duleep Singh. And her father was actually the youngest son of the Maharaja before him. And he was actually the youngest Maharaja to ascend the throne. He ascended the throne at the age of 5.
Oh, damn.
And this was in 1837.
Woof. Yeah, you gotta... Well, I hope he had some good advisors.
Well, his mother ruled on his behalf, but during this time, India was facing defeat in the Anglo-Sikh Wars, and this is when the British were invading India, basically.
Colonizers.
Yes, exactly. And he was actually then deposed by the British Crown at the age of 10.
Whoa.
Yeah, and then subsequently exiled by 15.
Okay, like...
Can you
what?
fucking imagine that childhood?
That's too much. That's way too much.
You are 10 years old and the British Crown is trying to take your job.
Like, have it. I want to go catch butterflies. Like, what the fuck? I'm 10.
Yeah, and also, get out of here, England. Get out of here, England.
Go back where you belong, England.
Right?
Yeah.
Excuse you, you have overstepped. And speaking of overstepping, he actually becomes close friends with Queen Victoria while he's still like a kid. And she's an adult.
Okay, sure. Yeah, she sounded like a nice lady. I think she liked kids.
Yeah, she liked kids. She said of him, quote, "Those eyes and those teeth are too beautiful."
What?
Weird.
Really weird. Okay, I don't like Queen Victoria. Never mind. Why are you looking at this kid's teeth?
She was probably doing some sort of weird exoticism.
Oh, I'm sure. Turn around for me, boy.
Oh, God. She seems that way. But, you know, this is from our outside perspective. We don't know what their relationship was like. She was godmother to several of his children later in life. So once he's exiled at 15, he's put into the care of this guy named Dr. John Logan. And this is in 1849. And under this care of this British doctor in exile, he is not allowed to talk to any other Indian people, like, except for specific, like, servants. Like, he's getting purposely cut off from people who share his culture.
And he's in, like, England or getting exposed to English culture?
Yeah, he's in England. He's getting heavily exposed to English culture. He's getting heavily exposed to England's very favorite book.
The Bible?
Yes, the Bible.
Okay, yeah.
Everyone loves to spread Christianity.
Yeah, totally.
And in 1853, under the tutelage of his, like, longtime teacher, he actually ended up converting to Christianity.
Yeah, I mean, you're exiled at 15. Yeah, like, what other option do you have? Exiled means you can't go home. Like, you have to adapt to what's in front of you, and you're very impressionable also.
Exactly. Plus, you know, this conversion was seen as extremely controversial because it was like the crown extending their control over this exiled ruler. He was also still 15. He was still a teen, and everyone is trying to push their political agenda onto him. Mm-hmm. He is a child.
So, hold on. Is this person we're talking about is Our Lady's dad?
Yes.
Okay, I got it.
This is all to set up the climate in which she grew up.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Because it's a very specific way to grow up. You're a princess growing up in exile, basically.
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah, because like moving on, he did end up marrying this woman named Bama Mueller, and then they established their family home in Elvenden Hall in Suffolk, England. After their family was established in England, Princess Catherine was born on October 27th, 1871. And she was, of course, his second daughter. She had an elder sister named Bama Sophia and a younger sister named Sophia Alexandria.
Nice. Okay. They really like the name Sophia. So, I mean,
they did, and I can't say...
Who can blame them? Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say no arguments here. Just drop that A and you got a sick name going on. I'll tell you, the real action is in the IE category. She also had 3 brothers. There was actually a time in 1886 when her father actually attempted to move back to India because he had become disillusioned to what the British were doing. I think he caught on.
Okay, yeah, cool.
But he was prevented from entering the country and forced to return, and then was separated from his daughters.
Oh shit, like he got punished for trying to come back, or?
Yeah.
Yikes.
They were like, yeah, you can have a big fancy house in England, but if you try to go back and reclaim your throne, we're going to separate your family.
Yikes.
Yeah. So Queen Victoria ends up putting the daughters under the care of this woman named Lady Logan. And this is actually where Princess Catherine would end up being introduced to a German governess named Fräulein Lena Schaefer, who was a German teacher and governess who I think would teach her German. But Princess Catherine was about 15 at this time. And this governess is in her mid-20s, probably. And these two end up falling in love.
Okay.
Interesting age gap.
Yeah, the age gaps is a little troubling, but also it's a very different time.
Extremely different time.
15 was like a full-grown adult at that point, even though it makes me feel gross right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't condone the age gap.
That and like the power dynamic of like teacher, student. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
It's weird. Okay.
It's a little weird.
Yeah, but it happened.
So between 1890 and 1894, Catherine went to Somerville College in Oxford, where she studied French, German, and she also learned to play violin, and her hobbies included singing and swimming.
Yeah, very well-rounded.
Yeah, extremely well-rounded, a very smart woman. And she actually studied for her degree and took all the necessary requirements, but she could not get a degree for it at that time because Oxford did not award degrees to women.
Yeah, great. Thanks, guys.
Cool time.
I'll just do all the work and get no credit.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, she said fuck you to Oxford and actually ended up entering high society for a while.
Okay.
Because remember, this bitch is a princess.
Yeah, exactly. She's in good with Queen Victoria. Like, she's got it made.
Yeah, and actually, she was introduced to high society in a debutante ball thrown by Queen Victoria.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's good for your social standing, which was very important back then.
Exactly. And actually, do you have an email from me?
Yeah, I do.
If you'd like to take a look, there are some pictures of Princess Catherine and her sisters.
Oh, cool. They look like they're all wearing wedding dresses in this first picture.
That's from the debutante ball that we're talking about right now.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It was kind of like a pseudo wedding.
Yeah, debutante balls at the time were a way to introduce young ladies basically to the marriage market, unfortunately.
Pretty much, yeah.
But, I mean, she was an incredibly high-class woman. Despite being born in England and completely surrounded by British people on all sides, she made a strong effort to retain her Indian heritage. She learned about her culture, and she actually visited India by herself without her dad.
Whoa. No, that's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. And she visited several places that were really important to her heritage. And I think that's so special and important because England tried so hard with her father to like beat the culture out of him.
And she's like, no, knowledge is power and I can learn about my culture because you've taught me to be educated.
Exactly. I think the strength of her education, the strength of reconnecting with her culture. Also, at this time, she was noticing a lot of gender inequality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
As we just said, she was not given a degree, even though she earned one, because she was a woman. This, among many things, actually inspired her to be an active member of the women's rights movement.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, she was fighting hard in 1912 in collaboration with the Constitutional Women's Suffrage Works. She actually organized this event where she made like an indoor Christmas tree farm, basically, and market, all to like benefit the like suffragette movement.
All right. Cool. Yeah. Christmas markets are a big thing over there, so I can see that.
Yeah. And they raised a lot of money for this like super critical point of the suffragette movement. She did a lot of organizing of events and fundraisers and things like that. She was like, give me the people and I will make the money.
That's really cool.
Yeah. She was also a member of several different suffragette groups, including the Fawcett Women's Suffragette Group, as well as the National Union of Women's Suffragette Societies. And all of this work with her fellow women paid off because in 1928, all British women over the age of 21 were granted the right to vote.
Hell yeah. And she got to see that in her lifetime?
Hell yeah, she did.
Nice.
She slam dunked that one.
Yeah. And gave everybody a high five.
Yeah, she did. A little bit, going back just a little bit before then, in 1908, Princess Catherine and her now longtime romantic partner, Linda Schaefer, moved to Germany together and set up a little household together. Linda said of Catherine, quote, "We are like two little mice living in a little house."
Stop! That's so cute!
It's very cute.
We are like two little mice living in a little house.
They sounded like they were actually a really wonderful couple. It was recorded that they loved to take long walks around the neighborhood together. They loved to garden, and Lena loved to cook. Catherine wrote of her life with her partner, quote, "I am having a very good time of it and enjoying myself thoroughly."
I love that. Or did people just like kind of leave them alone in Germany?
I think for the most part, they lived near people who were pretty tolerant.
Good.
I think they did definitely face some discrimination, both because they were lesbians that were semi-open. Catherine's sister, Sophia, described their relationship as, quote, intimate, like an intimate friendship. So, like, you know, they were as out as it was safe to be in Germany in the early 1900s.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. She was also a woman of color in Germany, so that made her stick out to the wrong people sometimes.
Yeah. Were they were an interracial couple then, too?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So they lived together, Lena and Catherine, through the First World War in Germany.
Okay. Damn.
But the rise of Nazism was starting to rear its ugly head in Germany at the time.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Lena Schaefer died in 1938. And this crushed Catherine.
Yeah, I bet.
She had built her entire life with this relationship. And she talked with her neighbor, and her neighbor was like, look, shit with the Nazis is not going well. Sell all your shit and go back to England. And she did.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
She said, fuck this.
Did her partner die of natural causes, or was it something to do with the Nazis?
Natural causes, I believe. She was a bit older than Catherine. She died at the age of 79.
Oh, that's a pretty good life.
Yeah. As she is leaving Germany, she's an educated woman. She's a women's rights activist. She sees what's going on. She's not stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And so she starts several different endeavors to help several different Jewish families escape the Nazis.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Details of this work are actually still emerging because, of course, it was very secretive.
Of course, yeah.
So these stories are kind of harder to uncover. But there are several stories that I want to touch on. In 1938, the same year that her, basically wife died, her friend, Dr. Hornstein, was arrested by the Nazis and taken to a concentration camp, and she was able to use her connections to free him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There's a man named Peter Bantz who is an art historian and an author and a collector, and he actually was able to make contact with some of the descendants of the families that she helped to get out of Germany. And one of these families was the Hornstein family, like I talked about. And their family was brought to England by Catherine in 1939. Bantz also interviewed a woman named Shirley Pimster. And Pimster was actually an English evacuee child at the time. So do you remember the part in Narnia where all the British people take their children to the train station and they put little tags on them and they send them to the countryside to be safe, right?
Of course.
Her house, her big estate in the country, was where some of these children went.
Oh, shit.
Right.
So she was just like super, super charitable and giving and just wanted to help people.
Exactly. And not only did she take in children, she had a rule that she wanted them to be accompanied by an adult. So she would take in whole families, but also a teacher, her own child, and the teacher's class.
Damn.
Like, all in her home. I mean, granted, a very big home, but geez.
Yeah. Yeah, you're still taking a risk, and yeah, that's very generous.
It's incredibly generous. And Shirley talks about how Princess Catherine made an effort to make things bright and cheery for the children. They were driven to school in a car, which was definitely a luxury. They were given a lot of sweets. They were thrown birthday parties if they had a birthday.
Oh.
There was a man who was actually a Jewish refugee who was a violinist. His name was Alexander Polinaroff, and he would play music for the princess in the evenings and serenade the children on their birthdays.
That is so cute. I'd be like, it's my birthday too.
It's my birthday. Play violin for me. So just to say, this woman used her power and her wealth to create a safe environment in the midst of World War II for children and refugees. And I think that's just such an amazing choice to make. She did pass away on November 8th, 1942, at the age of 71 of heart failure. And it makes me very sad to know that she did not actually see the end of the war.
Yeah.
But she did hopefully pass away knowing all the people she saved. I mean, she couldn't have known how many people she saved and all the, descendants they would have. But it's incredible to think about. Her death was pretty crushing to her sister, Sophia, who lived with her. When she passed away, her sister Sophia was the only person to attend her cremation.
Oh.
She also renamed their house that all these people were staying in, this big grand manor. She renamed it Hilden Hall, which is after Hilda, which is Catherine's middle name.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
And she actually sealed the room where her sister died.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I guess.
She's like, no one's going in
Don't go in there. Yeah. All right.
So Princess Catherine had actually left a detailed will of what she'd like done after her death. She wrote, quote, I, Princess Catherine Hilda Duleep Singh, desire to be cremated and ashes buried at Elvenden in Suffolk. Give my gold jewelry, my long pearl necklace, and my wearing apparel to my sisters Bama Sophia and Princess Sophia Alexandra. And she also asked for her ashes to be divided between the churchyard in Elvendon, where she grew up, and the other half to be placed in a casket, quote, to be buried as near as possible to the coffin of my friend, Fraulein Linda Schaefer, at Principal Cemetery at Kessel in Germany.
Holy shit. No, that's so sweet and sad.
It is, but her sister did take a portion of her ashes to Kessel in 1949.
Oh, good. I'm glad that she was able to do that.
She was able to rest with her love.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So the story's not quite done yet because Princess Katelyn was not done being charitable.
Oh, okay.
So, fast forward to 1997.
Whoa, the same year as my case.
Hey! Whoa.
Yeah, weird.
55 years after Princess Catherine's death, there was published a list of Swiss bank accounts that had been inactive since World War II.
Okay.
On this list was a bank account belonging to the princess.
Oh, shit.
The princess does not have any descendants, though. And so they had to create a tribunal of people, like, money people, I don't know, to research all the claimants. Because people were like, this list was published publicly. So there were a lot of people who were claiming this list, including the government of India. And they said government of India, she was never the princess of any particular area in India, so you do not get her money.
And her dad was exiled. Like, what?
Yeah. Not India's fault, but...
Sure.
So they end up sorting out that the closest person to the princess was the family of this person, Supra, who actually worked for her sister. And this random family, not random, but connected through time, received assets totaling 100,000 pounds.
Holy shit. Oh my god. That's insane.
Right?
Just sudden, one day your life just changes in the blink of it. Oh my god.
Right?
See ya. I'm going to start traveling. I need to quit my job.
I mean, I just love that even after her death, she still had one good deed to do.
I love that. Just some not random, but kind of random ass family in the future.
Well, it's like she had no descendants. Then they went to her sister. Her sister did not have any descendants. So they're like, who is the closest person? A person that worked closely with them.
Sure.
They are family.
Yeah, great. Good enough.
Right? It's gotta be.
I love that.
Yeah, but her legacy is that of charity, of bravery in the face of war and in the face of gender discrimination. She was a person whose life revolved around love and giving. And I would love for everyone to take that spirit into Pride this year. We're almost at the end of the month, but, if you would like to think about Princess Katelyn, I heard about her story and it really moved me.
Yeah, she sounds like she was a badass, very smart, very caring, and super just charitable, even in death.
Right. And she got to be buried with her partner in Germany.
Yeah, I'm so glad.
Me too. Well, what a Pride episode.
Hell yeah. We did it. Everyone, appreciate your bones. We love you. Have a great rest of your week, life, day, whatever.
What have you. Please come back and join us for another episode soon. And as we always say, Bon voyage. Happy Pride.
Au revoir.
Thanks for listening to Anything Bones. Follow us on Instagram or Facebook at Anything Bones Podcast, or email us at anythingbonespodcast@gmail.com.
Thank you to Nick Kruger for our spooky music and Stephen Vetteroff
At Chubby Scrubby on Twitter.
for our jazzy vocals, and thank you to Camilla Franklin
At Camilla Strader on Instagram.
for our beautiful bony artwork.
Please rate, review, and subscribe.
I'm working late. Oh my goodness gracious.
Because I'm a podcaster.
I look so cute with my big headphones. My little doggies. They sleep behind
She's in
me.
the background. Yeah.